Hello and welcome to another episode of LOC Into the Spotlight. We're back, me and Andre as always, and this time we have Season 1 Bucks player Cole and Season 1 Cavs player Tyler. How you guys doing?
Hey, Ben.
Oh, God. All right,
We're off to a great start.
Cole, how are you
I'm doing pretty well. Well myself.
Awesome. You guys excited to be here?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we're excited to have you, and we'll just jump right into our questions. So we're going to start off with the beginning of the LOC Season 1 and specifically the draft. So we've talked to other people before, but specifically you guys, what were your thoughts about the draft? Cole, you being a captain with the number 1 pick. Tyler, you being drafted. Cole, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts about the draft?
What were my thoughts about the draft? I didn't know quite what to expect going into the draft because I just remember we all said that we were going over and wear something decently nice. And that's basically all I knew.
Yeah.
It just kind of it felt really impromptu. Because we recorded videos in the past, but I wasn't expecting it to get this far as it has.
Yeah. Now, why were you so content with taking Dan? Just out of curiosity.
So of the players in the draft that I knew, I thought and still think that from the experience that I had, Dan was the best player available.
Okay. Oh, so it wasn't a
fair.
joke because Dan's
No.
Dan. It was
No.
like,
It wasn't a joke. It was never a joke.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Obviously, we know how it panned out. We got the biggest bust.
Yeah.
But everyone at the time thought it was a fair pick.
Yeah.
So hindsight's always 2020.
Oh my
Tyler,
God.
what were your thoughts? Obviously, you were first round pick, weren't you?
Yeah, it was second overall, which was pretty fun, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah. What were your thoughts being picked second? Were you expecting that?
I was kind of surprised, to be honest. There were a lot of good players that were selected late. Like Jake's a decent player. Like Jackson was drafted last overall.
That might have been.
No, the league is not rigged. Continue.
The league is not rigged, but it also might be. You know what is rigged? Jackson's college basketball tournament on.
Oh, that's a topic.
But we
That's
don't
another
talk
issue.
about that, right?
We'll get into.
I'm kind of in the same boat as Cole. Like I wasn't told a lot of stuff besides we're nice stuff. We're gonna be filming this, and the same thing. Like we filmed a lot of stuff in the past, but I didn't know how much we'd actually be getting into this.
Yeah, obviously
It was a lot of fun keeping stats.
The 2-camera setup that we used in Justin's basement to get it going. It was definitely a lot, and we're very extra, but who cares?
We're very
all
extra,
right,
that's good.
We're gonna move on to our second question, and this is the hard hitting part of the show. And we're going to you, Tyler. You've dealt with some controversy within the league, and you have been banned from ever being a ref again. So we've never really talked about it that much, other than it's just a thing. Why? What are your thoughts on being banned from being a ref in future games?
Ooh, that's a question I hadn't really anticipated before, but
yeah,
I guess I should now.
Now's your time to defend yourself. To put your thoughts out there. We want to hear.
I will admit I made some pretty bad calls, and more of those indecisive calls as a ref, but I know with a little bit of practice, I can get back into it, but unfortunately, I won't have the opportunity to prove myself as a ref in the future.
I just remember one time, in the I don't know what game was it. I mean, it was probably all all 3 championship games. There were at least maybe 4 or 5 calls that either you said after it happened that you should have called and you didn't, and then we all got mad, or there was no foul and then you called it foul or out of bounds or something, and then everyone was just raging at you.
Yeah.
And it was this whole stoppage, and it was just all funny. And
one thing I could definitely eliminate is those indecisive calls. It's gotta just go for it and go.
I think you should also limit saying that you were gonna call it but then you didn't.
Right.
That's another big factor.
Listen, we're all improving here. We've all improved as
Yeah.
players, and Tyler, you'll
Yeah.
improve as a ref. I have faith
if I
in you.
ever get the
Maybe
chance again.
For a different league, not the
no,
the
I mean
LOC.
maybe it'll come down to a vote. We'll change the
Oh.
handbook. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. Cole,
Maybe in like a Lopes LOC like showdown game or
crossover,
something.
crossover.
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh.
that's a good idea if that ever
Yeah.
happens.
Because obviously you're not going to be in the game.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Why would I?
That is a good point. Cole, you've been a ref before, and you saw Tyler.
I have,
and why he was banned. And your thoughts on Tyler being banned?
I think it was definitely just.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair. I think that's how most of the league feels. But before we get to our next questions, we're going to take a quick commercial break like we always do. We got to thank our sponsor, Ball is Life. Keep supporting us from day one. So we'll be right back after a welcome back, guys. Again, we're here with Andre as always, and Cole and Tyler, and we're just talked about season 1 draft, Tyler being banned from a ref, the real hard-hitting questions everyone wants to know. So now both of you, actually, this is an interesting thing that we haven't asked before, but specifically about the draft, you guys were both anchors for our draft show.
I think one of you was Muya Burger. Ooh.
No, that was Dan.
Oh,
that was Dan.
Tennessee.
Burger.
Who was Middle Tennessee?
I think
that was
Tyler was Middle
I believe.
Tennessee.
I was Middle Tennessee.
And more you were
And then-
like Chris
Oh,
Appleton.
Matthew
or
Appleton.
something.
No,
Matthew
Matthew
Appleton.
Appleton.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously. So that was a highlight of the show. So
Yeah, of
Tyler,
course.
starting with you, what was it like being an anchor? And how was
So how it ended up happening, it was just, I think the 4 people that ended up being left at Justin's house after the draft. And we're just like, you know what? We never did a draft analysis. Let's pretend like we're
there as it's
we're
going on.
analyzing the draft as it's
Yeah.
happening. And then we tried to remember like the picks as they happened. Like, because like, how can you forget like for the inaugural season of LOC and the draft?
Right,
So,
obviously.
You can't forget it.
yeah, exactly. So we were just going through the picks and talking about like what do we see? What do we see in them? How do they scout in the 4v4 scrim that we had before the season?
The
was an
only
iconic
scouting we
video.
had.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Cole was just kept rotating his hat like every time the camera.
Oh
got
yeah.
it
I was
great.
going to mention that.
Oh
Yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
for
and
it.
you can-
Talk about it because that
Yeah,
was something.
I remember being
every-
behind, like behind the camera for all this. It was just fantastic, like what you guys did.
Every time that we cut, I rotated the hat 90 degrees. I think I forgot a few times because it got tedious.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong. Towards the end, Sean Nicholas was appearing behind the couch behind
yes,
Dan Julis,
yes, that
and
did
it was like
happen.
throwing him off or something. Right?
Yeah.
He was
And
going sicko
then
mode.
And then Dan literally like threw. I forget after which pick.
I
he
actually
was-
told him to do that.
After me.
Do that.
After me. It was after I was
after
picked.
Ben.
Yeah.
He threw his
I
glasses
told him to get
at the
really
ground,
mad.
walked off camera, and then you just see Sean Nicholas's head just popping up and down. I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
not supposed to happen. Like,
I
Didn't they
told Dan
break
Julis
from
to get
that?
really mad.
They
I
and
think
did
throw his
break.
glasses.
I think you
The
see like a
sunglasses
piece
did
of
break.
Yeah, the sunglasses broke.
Cole, what
Also-
inspired you to rotate your hat?
I don't know.
Content.
I guess
I
it's
think it's
just
content.
yeah, something.
A little
different.
Easter egg for our viewers.
Yeah, yeah.
it was good content. It was good
It was.
content.
It was. So now, an infamous moment in the draft. After who was it? After Jake was picked, we have an iconic quote, obviously, and this will be our blast from the past. We'll throw in the
good
quote.
idea.
We'll throw in the quote right here.
He is the Ben Backrack to the Boston Celtics. He is to Andre's second, as Justin is the first to Ben. See what I mean there?
Great point there.
That was a great one.
Great point.
All right.
Here.
Stay tuned.
You guys will see it, but I'll read it. He is the Ben Backrack to the Boston Celtics. He is to Andre's second, as Justin is the first to Ben. And obviously, Cole, you responded with great point there. I'm sure you didn't. Did you realize what he was saying? What led you to say great point? Because I don't know if many people
What led me to say
understand
great
that.
point was that it was complete nonsense.
Right. So you just wanted to roll with it.
Yeah, of course.
What were your initial thoughts when you first heard it? Like, how did you
I didn't-
process it?
I didn't process it. I don't think anyone processed it.
Yeah, like even me being like the cameraman, like behind the camera, I was like, what is this kid saying?
Yeah.
I was like, where is this going? And then Cole just ended it with like, great point there. Yes.
Yeah.
Great point.
Tyler,
there.
you kind of just sat there.
I was just
what do you
kinda-
remember about that moment?
I was just kind of stunned. I just didn't know what to say after that point. After that, and Cole, like, thank goodness he just saved all of us from like.
Imagine if Cole
embarrassment.
didn't say anything and it was just an awkward
Jake would have
pause
went
for
off
like
for an
10
hour
seconds.
about how
I feel like if we tried to figure out what Jake was trying to say, like, the worse it would have been. So we just didn't think about
Yeah.
it whatsoever.
That's fair. In theory, I get what he was trying to say.
What was he trying to say?
He was trying to say that Jake was the second option on his team, just like I was the second option on my team.
I kind of took it as like Jake was the first draft pick for Andre, or like me, and then you were the first pick for Justin. That's how
this
I
was the
interpreted it.
issue. This was the problem.
That's exactly.
There were many ways to interpret it, and obviously it's an iconic moment. We still talk about it to this day. And that great point there just gets me every time. I gotta say, it really does.
It's fantastic. And apparently, in my Snapchat memories today, it was 3 years ago today that I was editing, and that clip came up because I recorded it and I put the caption as "What is this kid saying?"
Yeah, the day we're recording, obviously different day than we uploaded.
Oh yes, Wednesday, April 22nd.
Yeah, so I mean that's crazy. 3 years ago today, we were actually doing this draft. It's crazy how far we've come doing episodes talking about it over Zoom.
During quarantine.
We're gonna move on to a hypothetical question here. We are talking about the one we've asked everyone: which team wins the season 1 finals if both are fully healthy?
If both are fully healthy.
I have my
That's a tough question.
That's a tough
Tyler,
question.
we'll start with you. What do you think? Obviously went to 3 games in real life.
It was Jack that replaced you, right?
It was Jack that
Justin.
replaced Justin.
Oh,
So it was
Justin.
me, Jackson, and Jack.
I think I'm really gonna go with the Hornets here.
The Hornets?
Yeah.
Do you still think it goes 3 games, or
I think
what leads you to that?
I think it still goes 3 games. I think yeah, Marku fill in as a long three ball shooter.
no, but he would.
Sean Nicholas
it was
would
Sean.
be. Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, Sean Nicholas.
And
It
who's
was
the
me,
third
Jake, and
Celtic
Sean.
again?
It was Jake, Andre, and
Jake,
Sean against
Andre,
me,
Sean.
Justin, and Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake and Sean really like they're both tall. They're both relatively tall guys. They don't know how to use their size. Jackson knows how to get inside down low. Andre can take over for his team, but Justin can handle the one-on-one matchups. And I think the X factor is Ben and Jackson. They're more ranged ability than Sean and Jake. I still think it would have gone 3, but I'm gonna go with the Hornets.
Yeah, easily. That's easily.
I think it was a really good matchup. Cole, what are your opinions on this?
I think I have to agree with that. I think with Justin healthy, it would have gone to the Hornets in 3.
Yeah,
I'm going to disagree with both of you.
Bet.
Honestly speaking, because I was saving my entire energy for the playoffs during the regular season, so I was going off during the finals. Just saying that. So I don't know if that's going to, make you guys think.
Yeah, but it went to 3 games even without Justin.
exactly. That's the point.
I think after further review,
that's the point.
we might have to make all the finals games to 11 because we were all exhausted by.
You were. I was willing to play to 15 every time, but
You just gotta take proper water breaks between.
Yeah, I mean, Andre and I have talked about this a few times.
It's just a big what if scenario.
I think the main X factor is how Jackson and I shoot from outside, more so me because I take more outside shots. But I think it would have been very close. And we're gonna end it with one last question. Obviously now we're uncertain about how to go forward, but Cole, start with you. What are your thoughts on the future of the LOC? Season 3 finishing, future seasons, stuff like that.
I still definitely think that there are possibilities that are unexplored. We can completely finish season 3. We can go on to season 4 and even more seasons. It just requires the dedication of all the members to be able to get together and finish it up, and also to be able to.
Right. Obviously, once we're allowed outside again and to group up with people. Tyler, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Cole there. It's I don't think resuming season 3 is going to be much of a possibility. I think it just makes more sense to start with the season 4. And it really depends on the dedication of all the members. But as I talk to a lot of people when they ask me questions on the street, like what's up with the LOC, like what's the future of the league?
Yeah, I'm sure it happens a lot.
I tell them this virus is as horrible as it's been for disrupting our social institutions. There'll be plenty of new opportunities for marketing, for expanding our brand and making the league better than it ever has been. So
yeah,
I've been talking to like a lot of managers.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. We'll see where this brings us. Obviously, there's already been some controversy about what we're going to start with, whether it's finishing season 3 or
season 3. I can guarantee you guys will resume from where we left off 2 years ago.
The hope is for season 3 to pick up where it left off. Hey, I mean, it's just like the real NBA.
So I have a question.
Like the real NBA.
I have a bit
what
of
is your question, Cole?
If we're willing to resume season 3 now, why weren't we willing to resume season 2 in the spring?
It was strike shortened. It was a strike shortened season. We couldn't agree on a new collective bargaining agreement. We don't really know. It was anonymous, and
I, as commissioner, I cannot say due to legal reasons. I had a lot of companies personally complain to me about the Chicago Bulls that they were not aware of the 5th addition to the league. And it just threw off their entire
I don't know what he's talking about, but it was a strike shortened season, and unfortunately, it was not the same circumstances as season 3. There's been no strike yet, so
I see.
So the hope is for season 3 to resume and crown our second champion, because there was no champion in season 2, which is unfortunate. But we'll come back, and who knows? Maybe this will lead to expansion. Taking over the world. Subs. That's been a highly talked about topic.
World domination.
Yes, world domination, and all things LOC. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. Obviously, this was a lot of fun. It was a more lighthearted episode talking about why Tyler was banned. Is always fun. You gotta love that. But
and also
thank you guys.
We're still trying to decipher what Jake was saying, and when he said that thing.
Don't even try. Don't even
try. To this day,
you're right. I don't think we'll ever figure out.
It's one of the world's greatest mysteries.
I think it's the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate it. And for our viewers, thank you for sticking with us. We're trying to give you the content that you deserve. And we'll see you next time.